This is why we can't have junior staff meeting clients, Vincent interrupted, cutting through my presentation. His voice echoed across the sleek conference room, making me freeze mid-sentence. 20 pairs of eyes shifted from my drainage system blueprints to my burning face. Your alternative approach lacks practical experience. The conventional method has worked for decades. I gripped my tablet tighter as Vincent smiled condescendingly. He'd been director for exactly 6 months and seemed determined to squash every innovative idea from anyone below senior level. The client, an older woman from city planning, adjusted her glasses. Actually, I'd like to hear more from. She squinted at my badge, then her eyes widened. Are you related to Ellery Reed, the engineer who revolutionized flood prevention during the coastal disaster? Vincent's smirk vanished as he glanced between us. Yes, I replied quietly. He's my father. Before I continue this story, know that revenge doesn't always come with dramatic confrontations. Sometimes, it's the quiet dismantling of someone's power that brings the most satisfaction. If you've ever been underestimated or pushed aside, you'll understand why I couldn't let this go. Stay with me till the end. My name is Ellery Reed. At 28, I've spent my entire life trying to escape my father's shadow. Ellery Reed isn't just an engineer. He's the engineer who developed systems that saved thousands of lives during the worst flooding disaster in our country's history. His methods revolutionized urban planning worldwide. Growing up as his daughter meant teachers expected brilliance and classmates assumed favoritism with every high grade. I graduated with honors in civil engineering, then made a decision that shocked my family. I applied to Waterstone Engineering under a simplified resume that minimized my academic achievements and made no mention of my father. I wanted to succeed based on merit, not family connections. My father never knew I applied there. One phone call from him would have secured me a senior position. Instead, I started in entry level, working twice as hard as everyone else. For 2 years, I earned modest promotions through dedication and innovation. My immediate supervisor, Terrence, recognized my talents, but everything changed when he transferred and Vincent arrived. Vincent came from a prestigious firm with slick presentations and outdated methodologies. In his first week, he rejected 3 innovative proposals from junior staff, including my water conservation model that could have saved our municipal clients millions annually. His mantra became, "We follow proven protocols. Innovation comes with seniority." The morning of that fateful client meeting, I'd spent hours preparing my alternative drainage approach. The city's aging infrastructure couldn't handle another rainy season without improvements, and the conventional method would mean 3 months of disruptive construction. My solution cut that time in half while improving water dispersal by 30%. Vincent hadn't even looked at my proposal before the meeting began. After the client recognized my name, the atmosphere shifted instantly. Vincent stammered, "Ms. Reed has been a valuable team member, although still developing her expertise. Perhaps we should discuss both approaches." Gwendolyn Archer, the city planning representative, removed her glasses. "I'd very much like to hear Ms. Reed's full proposal. Edmund's daughter working on our project seems quite fortunate." The rest of the meeting transformed. Vincent nodded enthusiastically at my every point, claiming he'd always appreciated my fresh perspective. The same ideas he'd dismissed minutes earlier were suddenly innovative considerations worth exploring. I felt hollow despite winning the room. This wasn't recognition of my work. It was the power of my father's name. Walking back to my desk afterward, my colleague Priya caught up with me. "That was something else," she whispered. "Vincent looked like he swallowed a toad when he realized who your dad is." Priya Nair had joined the firm 3 months before me. Brilliant and understated, she'd developed a revolutionary water filtration system that Vincent had rejected last month without even testing the prototype. We'd become allies in the struggle against his outdated thinking. "I hate that it happened this way," I admitted. 2 years of keeping my background quiet gone in a second. "Maybe it's for the best," Priya suggested. "Now he can't keep dismissing you." "But he'll keep dismissing everyone else," I said, "including you." She shrugged. "I'm used to it. Women of color in engineering. We develop thick skin." That evening, I received an email from Vincent requesting a private meeting the following morning. I spent the night debating whether to mention my father or pretend nothing had changed. Vincent welcomed me with unusual warmth the next day. Ellery, I've been reviewing your file. Your work has consistently exceeded expectations. I believe you're ready for more responsibility. I kept my expression neutral. Interesting timing for that realization. His smile faltered slightly. I've always valued your contributions. Perhaps I haven't expressed that clearly. You expressed yourself very clearly yesterday, I said, before and after learning who my father is. Vincent leaned back. Your father's accomplishments are impressive, but that's not why I called this meeting. The city project needs someone with your perspective. I'd like you to lead the drainage system redesign. The opportunity was exactly what I'd worked for, but the circumstances felt wrong. And if I decline? His confusion seemed genuine. Why would you? It's a career advancement. I want to earn my promotions, not receive them because you're afraid my father might call. Vincent's expression hardened. That's unfair. Your work merits recognition. It merited recognition yesterday morning too, and Priya's filtration system deserved more than a dismissive rejection. That system had practical implementation issues, he insisted. Issues you never bothered to explore because Priya is just a junior engineer. He sighed heavily. I understand you're upset about yesterday, but this opportunity— I'll accept on one condition, I interrupted. Priya's filtration system gets a proper evaluation and testing budget. Vincent hesitated, then nodded. I can arrange that. I left his office with mixed feelings. I'd secured a testing budget for Priya's project, but at what cost? Would my colleagues now see me as someone who leveraged family connections? Over the following weeks, Vincent's behavior shifted dramatically, toward me at least. He invited me to senior meetings, praised my inputs, and repeatedly mentioned how he'd always seen potential in me. Yet his treatment of other junior staff remained unchanged. Ideas were dismissed without proper consideration. Innovation remained the domain of senior engineers. Priya's filtration system received its promised evaluation but with minimal resources and restrictive parameters. When it inevitably underperformed under those constraints, Vincent smiled sympathetically. See, this is why experience matters. Good concept, impractical execution. I watched Priya's shoulders slump as months of work was dismissed. That night, I called my father for the first time in weeks. Dad, how did you handle people who refused to see the value in new approaches? Edmund Reed's laugh rumbled through the phone. You found one of those, did you? Engineering is full of them. People who mistake familiarity for reliability. This director at work, he's stifling everyone, especially the younger engineers. Ah, the old guard. They forget that every proven method was once an untested innovation. He paused. Does he know you're my daughter? I hesitated. He does now. That's part of the problem. He treats me differently, but still dismisses everyone else. Then you have leverage, my father said simply. Use it wisely. I don't want special treatment. Then don't use it for yourself. Use it for others. His words stayed with me. The next morning, the announcement appeared in our inboxes. The annual Innovation Challenge was opening for submissions. The winning project would receive full funding and implementation support, with significant bonuses for the team involved. This was my opportunity. I approached Priya during lunch. Let's collaborate on an innovation submission. Your filtration system, paired with my distribution model. Her eyes widened. Vincent will never approve it. He won't have to. The judging panel includes the board of directors and external experts. But if we win, he'll be assigned to oversee implementation. I smiled. Exactly. The plan crystallized over the following days. We would create a proposal so technically impressive that the judging panel couldn't ignore it, yet structured in a way that Vincent couldn't possibly understand its core mechanisms. He would be forced to either admit his ignorance or pretend knowledge he didn't possess. We worked evenings and weekends, refining Priya's filtration system and integrating it with my distribution model. The result was beautiful in its efficiency, a water management solution that would save municipalities millions while improving quality and reducing waste. The submission form asked for recommended implementation leadership. Instead of naming ourselves, I listed Senior Oversight, Vincent Hale, Technical Development, Reed, Nayar Team. Priya questioned this decision. Why give him credit? Because this isn't about credit, I explained. It's about exposing competence, or the lack of it. When the finalists were announced, our project made the cut. Vincent called me into his office immediately. Congratulations on making the finals, he said, smiling broadly. I'm honored you recommended me for oversight. You're the director, I replied. It seemed appropriate. Absolutely. Though I'll need a comprehensive briefing on the technical aspects. I nodded. Of course. Though the presentation to the board will need to come from the senior leadership. His smile faltered slightly. Naturally. I'll present the overview, and you can handle any detailed questions. Actually, the guidelines specify that the named project leader must demonstrate comprehensive understanding. Supporting team members aren't permitted to answer questions during the final presentation. The color drained slightly from Vincent's face. I see. Then we should schedule several detailed review sessions. We held 3 review sessions over the following week. In each one, Vincent struggled to grasp the fundamental principles behind our system. Priya and I explained using increasingly complex terminology, providing just enough clarity for him to think he understood before introducing new complications. The day before the final presentation, Vincent looked overwhelmed. Perhaps we should simplify the explanation. The board includes 3 engineering PhDs, I reminded him. They'll expect technical precision. Vincent spent the night reviewing our materials. When he entered the boardroom the next morning, his confident facade couldn't hide the anxiety in his eyes. His presentation started smoothly with the prepared slides, but faltered when board member Dr. Abernathy asked about the pressure differentials in the filtration subsystem. Vincent glanced at me desperately before attempting an answer that revealed his fundamental misunderstanding. I maintained a neutral expression as the board members exchanged glances. Perhaps, said Dr. Abernathy, we should hear from the technical team who developed this. Ms. Reed, Ms. Nayar, while protocol suggests Mr. Hale should handle questions, would you mind elaborating? Vincent had no choice but to agree. Priya and I explained our system with precision and passion. The board was visibly impressed, asking penetrating questions that we answered with confidence born from genuine understanding. When the winner was announced the following week, our project was selected unanimously. The board's feedback noted, revolutionary approach with clear technical mastery demonstrated by the development team. If you're enjoying this story of workplace justice unfolding, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell because the second half reveals exactly how I turned the tables on Vincent. And trust me, the satisfaction of seeing him realize his position was about to change forever is worth every second. Now, let's continue with how the revenge plan truly comes together. The victory celebration was bittersweet. Upper management praised our innovation while Vincent stood nearby, smiling tightly as executives congratulated him on fostering such creativity in his team. No one seemed to notice or care about his fumbled technical explanation during the presentation. The system that mattered in corporate settings was functioning as designed. Credit flowed upward. That evening, as Priya and I shared a quiet dinner to celebrate, she asked the question I'd been avoiding. So what now? We won, but Vincent still looks good to management. I twirled my fork thoughtfully. The presentation was just phase 1. Implementation is where things get interesting. The project timeline gave us 6 months to move from prototype to full deployment. Vincent scheduled our first technical review with stakeholders for the following week, clearly intending to establish himself as the project authority from the start. The morning of the review, he called me into his office. I've prepared the presentation slides, he said, turning his monitor to show me. I've simplified the technical aspects to make them more accessible. I reviewed his slides, noting how he'd reduced our complex filtration mechanisms to basic diagrams that missed crucial elements. These simplifications create inaccuracies, I pointed out. The stakeholders need to understand the actual process. Too much technical detail will confuse them, Vincent insisted. 3 of the 5 stakeholders have engineering backgrounds, I countered. They'll notice the inconsistencies immediately. Vincent frowned. Fine. Add whatever technical slides you think necessary, but keep them for the appendix. We'll only refer to them if questions arise. I nodded and returned to my desk, where Priya waited expectantly. He's setting himself up perfectly, I whispered, updating the presentation with properly detailed technical slides, not in the appendix, but in a separate file. When the stakeholders arrived, Vincent began confidently with his oversimplified presentation. Barely 5 minutes in, the municipal chief engineer raised her hand. This overview seems to omit the pressure differential mechanics that made your proposal superior to conventional systems. Could you elaborate on that? Vincent paused, clearly searching for words. Of course, the differential pressure creates efficiency through advanced flow dynamics. The stakeholders exchanged glances. Perhaps a more detailed explanation? Pressed the engineer. Vincent looked at me desperately. I opened my laptop and displayed the technical slides I'd prepared. If I may, I've prepared some additional materials that might address your question. For the next 40 minutes, I explained the system's core innovations while Vincent stood awkwardly to the side, occasionally interjecting with generic phrases like exactly as we envisioned, or precisely the advantage we identified. By meeting's end, it was clear to everyone who truly understood the project. As we gathered our materials, the municipal engineer approached me directly. Miss Reed, I'd appreciate it if you could be my direct contact for technical matters going forward. Vincent overheard and quickly inserted himself. All communication should flow through proper channels. As project director, of course, the engineer interrupted smoothly. But for technical questions, I'd prefer speaking with Ms. Reed directly. Efficiency, you understand. This pattern repeated across subsequent meetings. Vincent would begin presentations, struggle with technical questions, and eventually yield the floor to me or Priya. Each time, his authority eroded further while our credibility grew. 3 months into implementation, we faced our first major challenge when groundwater complications threatened to delay construction. Vincent called an emergency team meeting, visibly agitated. This setback could cost us weeks, he announced. We'll need to revert to conventional methods for this section. Priya raised her hand. Actually, our system can adapt to these conditions. The modularity we built into the filtration components allows for reconfiguration. Vincent dismissed her suggestion immediately. That's too experimental. We can't risk further delays. It's not experimental, I countered. It's precisely why our system won the innovation challenge. Adaptability under variable conditions. Theory is different from practice, Vincent insisted. I've made my decision. Rather than argue further, I nodded. We should inform the stakeholders of this change then. They'll need to approve the additional budget and timeline extensions. Vincent hesitated. Is that necessary? Absolutely. Conventional methods will increase costs by approximately 30% and extend the timeline by 5 weeks. That requires stakeholder approval. The color drained from Vincent's face. The project was already under intense scrutiny from upper management, who had promoted it as both innovative and efficient. Explaining why they were abandoning those benefits would raise uncomfortable questions. Perhaps we should explore Priya's suggestion further before making that decision, he conceded. Priya's reconfiguration worked perfectly. The groundwater issue was resolved without delays, further cementing our technical credibility while highlighting Vincent's knee-jerk conservatism. As the project neared completion, results exceeded expectations. Water quality improved by 40%, while operational costs decreased by 25% compared to projections. Local news covered the innovation, interviewing municipal officials who praised the forward-thinking engineering approach. The success caught the attention of neighboring counties. Representatives from 3 municipal authorities requested meetings to discuss implementing similar systems in their regions. Vincent eagerly scheduled these presentations, clearly seeing them as opportunities to rebuild his damaged reputation. The evening before the first presentation, I received a call from Gwendolyn Archer, our original client. Ellery, I wanted to give you advance notice. The county commissioners were so impressed with your work that they're proposing an expanded regional project. They specifically requested you as project leader. My heart raced. That's unexpected. Not to me, Gwendolyn replied. They recognize who truly understands this system. Your director will be informed tomorrow. I thought you deserved to hear it first. The following morning, Vincent conducted his presentation with renewed confidence, unaware of what was coming. When he finished, the county executive smiled and delivered the news. We're prepared to commit to an expanded implementation across 3 counties, with Ms. Reed designated as project leader. Her technical mastery has impressed all our engineering consultants. Vincent's expression froze. Ms. Reed is certainly talented, but as her director, I would naturally oversee any expanded implementation. The executive shook his head. Our proposal specifically requests Ms. Reed's leadership. It's non-negotiable. Vincent struggled to maintain composure as he agreed to discuss internally and respond to their generous offer. Back at the office, he immediately called me into a private meeting. This situation creates an awkward reporting structure, he began. Perhaps we can propose co-leadership of the expanded project. I kept my expression neutral. The client seemed to have specific requirements. Requirements can be negotiated, he insisted. I have significantly more management experience. True, I acknowledged, but they're prioritizing technical expertise for this implementation. Before Vincent could respond, his phone rang. A call from the CEO requesting his immediate presence upstairs. He returned an hour later, his expression unreadable. The following morning, the announcement landed in everyone's inbox. The company was creating a new innovation implementation division focused on cutting-edge water management solutions. I was named division head with Priya as deputy director. The expanded county project would be our division's inaugural initiative. Vincent remained director of conventional engineering projects, effectively sidelined from the company's most prestigious and profitable new direction. The announcement included a statement from the CEO. This restructuring allows us to leverage the exceptional technical innovation demonstrated by Ellery Reed and Priya Nayar, while maintaining our commitment to proven methodologies under Vincent Hale's experienced leadership. In corporate speak, Vincent had been demoted without changing his title. His path to further advancement had effectively vanished while our careers accelerated dramatically. Our new division received double the resources of standard departments. We hired 8 new engineers, all selected for their creative thinking and collaborative approaches. Our office space was relocated to the newly renovated East Wing, with state-of-the-art facilities and direct access to the research laboratory. 3 months into our division's existence, I received an unexpected email from Vincent requesting a meeting. He arrived at my office looking noticeably different, the designer suits replaced by more modest attire, his confident stride now measured and cautious. Thank you for seeing me, he began, taking the visitor's chair across from my desk, the same desk where he had once sat while I stood before him as a junior engineer. Of course, how can I help? Vincent cleared his throat. I've been following your division's progress. The innovations you're implementing are impressive. I've been considering my own career trajectory and feel I could contribute more effectively in a forward-looking environment. I raised an eyebrow, waiting. I'd like to request a transfer to your division, he finally said. I believe my experience could complement your technical expertise. The moment crystallized everything I'd worked toward. Vincent Hale, who had dismissed and belittled junior staff for months, was now requesting to work under my supervision. The man who had deemed me unqualified to speak in client meetings now needed my approval for his career advancement. Interesting, I said, echoing his own dismissive tone from countless meetings. What specific contributions do you envision making? Vincent shifted uncomfortably. My project management experience could help streamline implementation processes. We've actually developed new implementation protocols that have reduced deployment time by 40% compared to conventional methods, I replied, but I appreciate your interest. Hope and desperation mingled in his expression. We both knew his current position had become a career dead end. The company's focus had shifted toward innovation, leaving his department with decreasing resources and visibility. I could have rejected his request. Part of me wanted him to experience the same dismissal he had so casually inflicted on others. But revenge wasn't my goal. Transformation was. I'll consider your request, I said finally. But I should be transparent. Our division operates differently. Ideas are evaluated on merit, not seniority. Everyone participates in innovation development, regardless of position. Could you adapt to that environment? Absolutely, Vincent replied too quickly. I've always valued fresh perspectives. I nodded, not bothering to challenge his revisionist history. I'll discuss this with my team and let you know our decision. That evening, I met with Priya to discuss Vincent's request. You're not seriously considering it? She asked incredulously. I am, but not for the reasons he thinks. I explained. Having him work under our system, seeing daily how successful collaborative innovation can be, that's a more effective lesson than rejection. Priya considered this. And where exactly would he fit? I smiled. I think the water filtration optimization team could use another member, under your direct supervision. Priya's eyes widened as she understood. You want him to report to me? The same person whose filtration system he dismissed without testing? Exactly. But only if you're comfortable with it. A slow smile spread across her face. I think I could manage that assignment. 1 week later, Vincent received notification of his accepted transfer. As a senior project coordinator reporting directly to Deputy Director Priya Nayar, focusing on filtration system optimization. His first day in our division, I watched him navigate our collaborative workspace. Gone was his private office with its closed door and hierarchical trappings. Here, even I worked at a desk in the open floor plan, separated from others only by glass partitions that maintained visibility and accessibility. During his orientation, Vincent learned our division's operating principles. Ideas were submitted anonymously for initial evaluation to prevent bias. Feedback was constructive and specific. Implementation teams included members from all experience levels, and most importantly, credit was shared accurately among contributors. Over the following weeks, I observed his gradual transformation. Initially, he attempted to dominate discussions with appeals to experience rather than evidence. When this approach failed to gain traction, he began listening more and speaking less. Priya's leadership style, supportive but uncompromising on technical rigor, left him no choice but to adapt. 3 months into his new role, Vincent contributed his first valuable insight to a distribution challenge. The team incorporated his suggestion, with proper attribution. At the subsequent division meeting, Priya highlighted his contribution alongside others. The genuine recognition for actual merit seemed to affect him deeply. One evening, as most staff had departed, I noticed Vincent working late, helping a newly hired engineer troubleshoot a simulation problem. Their heads bent together over the computer, hierarchy forgotten in the collaborative process. When they solved the issue, their shared excitement was visible even from across the room. As Vincent gathered his things to leave, he noticed me watching and approached my desk. I need to say something, he began awkwardly. I understand now what you were trying to tell me all those months ago. About evaluating ideas on merit, not seniority. About the value in junior perspectives. He paused. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. I nodded, accepting his apology without diminishing its importance by dismissing it. This division runs the way engineering should, he continued. Everyone contributing based on what they know, not where they sit in the hierarchy. That was always the goal, I replied. Good engineering isn't about protecting territory. It's about finding the best solutions, regardless of where they originate. Vincent nodded thoughtfully. I wish I'd understood that sooner. As he turned to leave, I called after him. Your distribution modification for the Eastern County. It was genuinely innovative. You should develop it further. The surprise and gratification in his expression confirmed what I'd suspected. Beneath his defensive posturing had been someone who actually wanted to contribute meaningfully, but had forgotten how. My revenge, if you could call it that, wasn't about destroying Vincent's career or publicly humiliating him. It was about creating a system where true merit was recognized, where innovation flourished regardless of rank, and where he had to confront daily the success of an approach he had once dismissed. Vincent now worked diligently under Priya's direction, watching as engineers he once considered too junior to contribute implemented innovations he had rejected. His daily reality became learning from those he had previously belittled, rebuilding his career according to standards that valued substance over status. The greatest satisfaction wasn't in watching him fall, but in creating something better in the process, an engineering division that functioned as it should, where good ideas rose on their merits, and everyone had the opportunity to contribute meaningfully. That, I think, would make my father proud. Have you ever been in a situation where someone underestimated you, only to later realize their mistake? Or perhaps you found your own quiet way to prove your worth without making a scene? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. How did you handle being dismissed or overlooked? Did you confront the situation directly, or find more subtle ways to demonstrate your value? If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more narratives about workplace dynamics, professional growth, and the satisfaction of earning recognition through genuine merit rather than connections. Share this video with someone who might need to hear that sometimes the best revenge isn't loud confrontation. It's building something better and watching others adapt to your standards instead of compromising yours. Remember, true power isn't about titles or positions. It's about creating systems where everyone can contribute their best work. Thanks for listening to my story, and I'll see you in the next video.